here's a little update on the big twin Evo frame. This is the frame that I kind of cobbled together out of a bunch of random parts. So kind of what we ended up with, about an inch up, and I deraked to 28 or to 30 degrees. It was at like 32, so I took a couple degrees out here, added a VIN tag. Here's the country bar. Tried to kind of make it look sort of like these squished tubes. I added that. And then the top motor mount. These tubes are 1.125 inches. Added those. This was a shovel head front motor mount I had. So I ended up, what I did is I took the backbone, I took the seat post, put it in the tube bender and bent it back a little to get some clearance here. It was really tight on the rear head, and I didn't want to have to go up a bunch in order to get that all to work out. It actually needed this little dimple here to get the exhaust nut in on the stud, since the Evos have studs. And so yeah, there's a seam here. You can still see this seam a little bit there. Soft tail axle plates. I added a pipe mount here, and then a pipe mount back here for the rear pipe. I kept these for the sissy bar. I thought those looked cool. I kind of blended this out. I'm just getting it powder coated. I'm not going to get crazy on paint or anything. So what else? I added one of my fender mounting brackets and oil tank brackets there. Tank mount. I'm just going to use this stock tank mount. I had the clearance right here because the lid on the 6-speed transmission, the lid contacts there. And then I added a Sportster kickstand because I like those. That way it tucks up under the motor. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Nothing crazy, nothing too fancy. I didn't really go nuts on the metal finishing. I mean, I did a little in here, but it's going to be fine. It'll be powder coated and I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I added a hole here for my headlight wire to come out, and I did another hole back here, and I added a hole here so that my wire can come out over here. I'll just use a little zip tie there to hold it out of the seat post hole because my seat goes down in the pogo hole. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Thanks for watching. Okay, so for the tank on the bike, I thought it might be cool to make a little bigger tank that's got a little bit more volume than what I normally run. My friend Brooke gave me these tanks. They're shovel head, nothing fancy. I think this one's a repop and this one was OEM. So I just plasma cut them out, just the insides out of them. And then I just quartered them. I just cut these down this side. And to be honest, these things are just so out of whack. Like, years ago, I helped my friend Jeff build a tank similar to this, and they're just not that symmetrical. And so I just kind of hacked them, and we'll just kind of go from there. They're not incredibly symmetrical. They're not, left and right's different and everything. So I'm just going to kind of try to make do with what I've got. And honestly, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time measuring because it's kind of pointless from my previous experience. So, all right, I'm going to kind of stick the top together on here and see what I got. All right, so here it is with a couple tacks on it. I set this thing up on the table with it tacked just kind of roughly where I thought it would need to go. And I measured from the table to the caps, and it was this guy was like a 1/4 inch longer, maybe 3/8 of an inch longer than that one. Like I just kind of lined it up as good as possible to get the fit as good as I could. And then I was like, whoa, these caps are way off. So yeah, once I measured, this tank was way longer. So I got the caps in the right spot, and then I'm gonna just have to whack on this and kind of tune this back end up to get it where it needs to go. And then same thing in the front. You can see, you know, now we're kind of short on this side in the front. So, you know, I'll just whack on it and get a couple tacks on and just kind of tighten this thing up as I go, and it'll come together. All right, here it is. The top kind of welded and lightly metal finished. It's starting to get a little tuned in. It's not perfect, but nothing on this bike is gonna be perfect. It's just quick and dirty. So yeah, I welded it, hammer and dollied it a little bit. I've got this post dolly that works really good. It's got this this is a part of a Triumph frame, and this will kind of stop off on here and keep it from sliding down when you're whacking on it. Yeah, try to grind the inside so that you're not hammering on lumpy, bumpy stuff. And I ran it through the English wheel just a little bit to kind of average this out. But yeah, there we go. All right, so this is where I'm at. All right, so I've got the sides. I mocked this up. I kind of like tacked the sides on and put it on the bike for a couple weeks and looked at it. And I decided that I kind of liked this shape where we had welded this before. And if you remember in the last video, it was like all jagged and just kind of messed up. So I just cut the whole thing out and English wheeled out this piece. And then I just sort of tuned in these side panels. I got rid of the petcock because I saw that's gonna hit the upper rocker box. And this this side actually had like a big bump up because on a shovel head, when these are wide, the rocker boxes ride kind of on here. So yeah, I hammered that out and just kind of tried to match this side to this side and reshape them. So yeah, now I'll kind of tack them together again and put it on the bike and see if I still like it. Here's a couple side shot photos of where I'm at. You can see the laser cut sissy bar mounted up. Got the seat from Thailand mounted on there. Got the wheels and tires. I got these pipes. I bought a pile of parts the other day and those pipes were in there. These handlebars are from my friend Andre. So yeah, this is just a loose mock-up. You know, it's all just teetering on there. But you kind of see the idea of where I'm headed. Here's my buddy Steve putting the tires on the wheels. Got the fresh powder coat from Steel Coatings on there. And then I had these custom rotors laser cut out of AR500 armor plate. And then I dropped them off to the surface grinder shop to have them grind them nice and flat. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Thanks for checking it out.